Me, I like a different kind of face.
What kind?
Kind of face you got, Belle. Hmm. Hmm. That Mandinka face.
Mandinka?
What the hell did you just say?
Nigga, you got to be crazy!
Tell me, he didn't just say that.
What foodstuff's that you're talking about? That's African. I ain't no African.
Well, I'm Mandinka. We're proud people.
And I'm American.
All right, and we are back. Peace, Brother Kerry. How you doing?
Natasha, how are you?
All is well. Welcome to Civil Alert. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well up here in Northern California, freezing, but all is well. Everything is well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you said you're in the northern area of Cali, so I guess you need to be in the south because, like they said in that song, what did it say? It never rains in Southern California. So I guess it doesn't get cold either. But it's something that you make mention of that. I can remember several years ago when I was out on the west side for the first time ever. It was around the Santa Monica area, and I said, woo-wee. I mean, it's pretty to be on the coast, but it was a little chilly, and I think that was like around August or so. And I was expecting it to be a little steamy.
Yeah, well, Los Angeles is probably the biggest artificial city in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's a desert. It's a desert, so it's not a natural place. It's a city built on top of the sand. They get their water from a city up north. It's an artificial city, and so if you pay attention to how Los Angeles is and how it's set up, it's just a big movie set. Really.
Wow.
There's no
pretty
connection to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I say it's not really connected to anything. Very little people are not out in the mountains hiking. Though there are some, but the area the beaches are dying. The beaches, Southern California beaches are polluted filth. They shut down all the time about how their sewer systems are set up. So it's an artificial city, and a lot of us go there and we just don't fit in a whole bunch of ways. And there's been news how we fit into Hollywood and how that is to our psychologics. So Los Angeles is Hollywood. And I know many of your listeners know about the Hollywood.
What'd you say? Psychological sorcery on steroids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear you. So pretty much, so you're saying that it's pretty much built up similar to how like in Dubai, because what I didn't realize is that like in that area, they have a certain area that's very developed and everything, but just right in the immediate outskirts, it's desert. So it's a new phenomenon. It's not anything that just anciently existed.
Right. Study just Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico. Why those areas are deserts? They're there to set up artificial creations. You can't set up. You can't. There's not that much land mass is allocated for human living because you have woods, you have places up in Washington where the forest is so thick and so dense, it's uninhabitable for humans. So you put them in other places on the world where you can just set up your monopoly board and have the people on top of there doing what you say do. That's what that's what the cities are set up for now.
That
so
sounds good.
And it's a system that we don't fit in. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to sustain our lives. We're here to be a viable member of the planet. And how it's being done is that we're being wiped out And a lot of times we do it. We are the ones who champion the cause. So, I hope this is what our conversation can be about tonight.
Oh, yes, I want to focus definitely. We'll get into that. But I know that we talked about those free trade agreements. I definitely want to address that initially because it paints a whole different scenario and causes you to look at the everyday micro economics from a whole different perspective. And, before we touch base upon that, please share a bit with everyone about yourself, your background, your passions, what you've been engaged in.
Yeah, my name is Kerry Davis. I'm from Los Angeles. A couple of years ago, one of my aunts came to me and said, "Why are you paying these?" She asked me how much was I paying a month for rent, and I was like $1,400. Believe me, when you can make money, use your talent and gift to make money, and then at the end of the month you have to peel off that cash to give it to somebody else in cash. It's stressful when you have to do that because you're giving away a lot of your hard-earned money to help another person build their dreams or live large, and you have to take that off the top of what you've done. So I understood what she was saying. She was like, take 2 months rent and come buy you a house down south. I was like, what?
Can you say that again? Okay, because that's a powerful statement. What did your auntie say?
She said, take 2 months rent and come buy you a house down in the south. Now, unlike most, I love the South. The South is cool, but it's a lot of our roots. So when you talk about the free trade zone, we're going to hit back to that because that's a very important factor.
Mm-hmm.
She said, take 2 months rent and come buy you a house. So I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can say is, when we're talking about we trying to move out here and there, we waste a whole lot of our financial energy on trying to get here and buy stuff that people have done and created for us instead of building our own, something that'll be viable and conducive for life for us. We don't do that. And all that financial energy goes into them, and we don't redirect it for ourselves. And that's criminal.
Hmm.
And so with these free trade zones that are going on, what are free trade zones? I would suggest to your listeners, so you can get an idea in case we don't cover it tonight, there's a video out, a documentary called Life in Debt. It's called Life in Debt, documentary on Jamaica, how Jamaica has just been sucked dry of its resources, and what the free trade zones are and how they are set up. But the free trade zones are being set up here in America so these foreign companies can come in, produce their goods and products, just produce them here so they don't have to pay the taxes and the tariffs to ship it in. These are some of the concessions the United States had to give, since they are in this debt. And everybody knows about the debt. Or I hope you do.
Right. So you're speaking about the debt in regards to all of the countries, different countries around the world, with Japan and China being the top two in their ownership of the Treasury securities?
Of course. And not only that, but, I'm sure your listeners and all of us see just in the communities we live in, a lot of foreigners are coming in. Now, the free trade zone is these countries that are coming over here, they want to be able to produce their rice here. They want to be able to grow their rice here. They want to be able to grow what they grow in their home countries here. So that's going to push us off the land even more than we are. Claim what's ours and begin to grow from there, because we're at a state now that we turn our nose up at our history. We turn our nose up to who we are, and we miss out a lot. These free trade zones are going to bring the labor prices down because the Chinese, they don't pay their workers a lot. Their cultures are different. those people over there they learn to live on $50 a month. They live in ways that we don't live. See, they'll live 10 to an apartment because they know now they don't have to pay $1,400. They have to pay $140. They can hustle up $140 and do everything else. But we'll pay that $1,400 each and every last one of us. Imagine the financial windfall we create for others. That's just that one thing. We can't live together. And this is how these immigrants are coming over here doing it. So I think we should take a look at what's going on and how it's affecting us and how all these free trade agreements that's being set up. It's over 250 in the United States. In every state. You do free trade zone agreement. The foreigners can come over and manufacture their products here.
So they're actually, in essence, but the free trade area is almost like a trade bloc, and they form and these agreements are formed with different countries all over the world, and then from there, it pretty much eases the whole thing with the taxation, import, export, and the cost of manufacturing and things of that nature.
Exactly. Here's an example. Here's an example. In 1950, the United States got into a war in Korea. The Koreans went to world court or whatever court and settled with the United States that since you came and ravaged our country, there are certain things we want from you. You have to repay us in some kind of way because you did that to us. So the United States say, okay, you can come over and set up a business, but you're going to set it up in the black community. This is common knowledge. We all know this. Then, after that war, they had a war in Vietnam. Vietnamese. Same thing. Vietnamese, when you go over as the aggressor to these people, they have to give you concessions in their country because everybody wants to come to America. Everybody wants to live their dream in America. So these people want to come over in America to live that American dream at the expense of us. So these people come over here, they bring their goods and sell it to us. We all see that. They bring their food over and sell it to us. They have markets. They have markets in California that are all Asian markets. No Western products on the shelf. So what does that mean for us? What are we producing? I'm talking about as a group because we can't do anything other people feed us because we see the health complications that we're going through now. So this free trade zone agreement, and I hope, and you can see the flood of immigration that's over here is overwhelming, and this is all over America.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because I read also, too, that in Boise, Idaho, that there's supposed to be, I think, up to about 30,000 acres that's going to be allotted to Chinese to set up a technology center where they will be having people to come over and work in those centers as well.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me, too, of several Hindustani brothers that I have worked on a contract with about a year ago. And he came up to me and he was like, Asha, he said, what's going on? He said, there's so many technology opportunities open here. He was like, do the people here not want to take advantage of these opportunities? Because on the project that we were working on, the bulk of the people on the project they were overseas. And then some of the people on the team, too, they were from Hindustan or from Asia working on the project. And you can count the amount of people from here that was working with everybody. So it's something that you're saying about looking at this to say, like, okay, what are the people going to do for themselves and what are they going to learn how to do?
Right. So check out what you said. You said these people were from India. These people are taking
Right.
what they developed
Right.
at home, and they're
Right.
bringing their technology